Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back in a brand new video on the channel. Question and answer, we are back. Episode number 2, as the last one was pretty long, and so we split this into 2 episodes. This is part number 2. Just enjoy. Do you watch GT3? Yes, I do. From this year, as Ferrari is so fucking bad, I'm starting watching WEC, so the World Endurance Championship. And so I'm watching GT3 as well, along with hypercars. At least there, Ferrari is good. 3 out of 3 wins, amazing, loving it, loving all the stuff around the WEC. I might go to watch some races actually in real life as well of WEC. Would be really interesting. So if you mean proper GT3 races, no, but the WEC includes also the LM GT3. So yes, I watch GT3s, I watch WEC. I support Valentino Rossi in GT3, and I support obviously Ferrari, the number 51 and the number 50 in the hypercars. What is the best F1 game you have played? Starting with this, I only played F1 23 and F1 24. I also played F1 22 with a keyboard when there was the free day, so I can't really count it. And then I played also F1 2021 at a friend's house for some days with a controller, so I will only count 23 and 24. And F1 23 clears F1 24. F1 23 was amazing, just amazing. It was perfect, basically. Perfect handling, perfect all the game, to be honest. Loved it. Still in, and will always be in my heart as my ever first F1 game. How can my glorious Sigma Skibidi King George Williams Russell win the World Drivers' Championship in 2025? Will not. Probably. How? Basically with a better car. George is really talented and good driver. Pretty underrated, to be honest, as a driver. And yeah, I think he can win also only with a better car, with his Mercedes. And in particular, you can maybe opt for the Barcelona changes, but probably not, because Mercedes is one of the teams that is most is advantages from these flexible wings, and so they will be even further away from the lead of the race, most probably. What is the best thing about making F1 edits? Monies? No. Well, maybe yes. I don't know. Depends really. I don't know. Can I say I don't know? Really depends, yeah. I don't know, there are better things to do than doing F1 edits, to be honest. I don't know, the thing is that if you do a thing you love, it's always a good thing. So if you love doing F1 edits, it's very good, because you spend your free time in doing something you love. I can't really say a particular best thing about doing Formula 1 edits, to be honest. But I think about having a YouTube channel that do F1 edits, maybe is that you connect a lot of countries, so you see the comments from a lot of countries. That's a very good thing. And a very good thing I can say now is that also it makes you learn English a bit more, obviously. Then I also do lives and etc. So I learned much more by doing them. But it's still related, still to answer the comments and etc. You learn a lot of English. That's one of the best thing about it as well. What's your favorite CC for your video? Depends on the peers as well, etc. I really like some CC that are pretty much like the real life colors, so not the one that much color, like brown. Like sometimes it's good to add the brown CCs, something like that. But in general, I pretty like very sharp and very high quality, but real life colors one. Part of the generic question this as well, because it really depends on the period, but this is mainly what I like. How do you decide what edit to make? And do you have any tips for editing F1 edits? Good questions. Well, for the second answer, so if I have any tips for editing F1 edits, I am doing a series on this channel where I react to your edits, guys. So go to check it out. We did 3 episodes of them, and you can send your edits so I can rate them, and I always give suggestions. So only by watching these 3 episodes that are already out on the channel, I will leave you the link in the description, and there is the full playlist on the channel. By only watching them, you learn a lot of tips. A lot of tips if you're editing on CapCut, if you're editing on Light Motion, if you're editing on After Effects. In those videos there are so many different edits and so many good tips that I always share to you. For the first question, how do you decide what edit to make? Depends. Sometimes I just maybe scroll to search ideas. That's really annoying. Sometimes it's in my head, so I have an edit idea and I do it. Sometimes maybe also some comments inspire me. So like some comments says, can you do a Yuki Tsunoda edit? And I do maybe a Yuki Tsunoda edit if I want. And if I think will perform well. That's the thing as well that you have to think about, obviously. But it really general, really depends. But in general, are my ideas or inspiration from comments in particular as well. What are your thoughts on Ferrari this year? If they should focus on 2025 or move on to 2026? You have to move to 2026. I know every year is the same story, but at this point you can't recover the championship. Even if from Barcelona you will be the first, you will be the fastest team, dominating. Maybe in this case you can, but you really have to dominate and will not happen. I think they should focus on a 2026 car. But to focus on a 2026 car, you firstly have to also fix the rear suspensions problem. So you should focus on this season to fix the problems and to understand much better these new suspensions that we knew and we know they changed from this year from the Ferrari. But yeah, it's always disappointing to be a Ferrari fan, as I said. How did you become a Leclerc fan and why did you choose him over Vettel, for example? I already explained in the last question. Maybe it's the last video, I don't know. I'm recording the old video in the same one, so I don't think I don't know if this is the first video or the second video. By the way, I already explained it. The first race I've ever watched, Monza 2019, Leclerc won, Vettel spun basically. So how could I not fall in love with Charles Leclerc rather than Sebastian Vettel? What is your favorite Formula 1 race of all time? The first I've ever watched, Monza 2019. Still my favorite F1 race I've ever watched. Or maybe also Monza 2024, because I was there watching it. So these two, Monza 2019 was so special. So special. But also 2024, because I was there in Monza celebrating the win. So I would say these two. If you're a brand new editor, what are your tips to be a successful editor? As I always say, one of the key points about making edits, about having a YouTube channel, to be honest, be fucking consistent. There are some very good editors that they have not a lot of subscribers, and they might wonder why. Basically, because they're not consistent. Sometimes or for other factors, but consistency is key. Then to be a successful editor, you really need to experiment a lot, learn a lot from the tips, always try to do a better edit, and in particular, a very good tip I can say, first, you have to have a good idea before making a good edit, because if you don't have a good idea, there will not be a good edit, in my opinion. So first, it needs to be a good idea, and then the editing making needs to be as best as you can. Just work hard, that's my best advice, to be honest, and be consistent. Should you start on CapCut or a light motion? I started on CapCut, and I never really switched to a light motion. I think CapCut is much easier than a light motion, so I would start on CapCut, to be honest. If you're really new to Formula 1 edits, if you are already editing in CapCut and etc., maybe I suggest you to switch to a light motion, because it's already a bit more advanced. You can make much better things, to be honest, as we see also on TikTok and etc. So yeah, really search for a lot of tutorials and you will absolutely get better. I suggest you CapCut if you are really starting, that you don't know anything about edits and anything about editing software and etc. If you're already a bit more advanced, go straight into a light motion. That should give better results. Wow, very good question. What's the origin of the game Minge? That's a really interesting question. Basically, as you can see, I'm not fat, okay? I'm slim. And there is an Italian word that is mingerlino, okay? Mingerlino. That means that you are slim. And so when I started rugby, so around 8 years ago, when I was 7 or something like that years old, my trainers called me from the first days Mingerlino, and then they started to call me Minge. That is obviously the abbreviation of Mingerlino. And that's pretty much it. And then from that day, just all my friends and etc. call me Minge. There is almost no one that call me with my real name. how much do you get per shirt and what's your monthly income? I will not answer to you, not because I don't want, but because I did a dedicated video a few months ago on how much I earned in 2024. I will do the same thing for how much I earned in 2025. So stay tuned, it will be in a few months obviously, but just go to watch that video because nothing really changed. At what point did you feel you were ready to face reveal and you were confident enough to do it? If I think about it, I wanted to do at least a year ago, or even more. I would say 1.5 years ago. I thought I was ready, but if I think about it now, maybe I wasn't ready. What you're really asking is when you really felt so confident, and I would say from like September, October of the last year, November, like in particular from November and more, I would say just like 1 month before Christmas, something like that, 1 or 2 months before Christmas, from that moment up until the 12th of February, so my birthday, when I did the face reveal. From that moment, I really felt a lot of confidence in doing it. I was so excited to do it. I really wanted to do it. That's the only thing I mattered at the time. And I really felt so confident in doing it. And exactly, it went so good the day we did the face reveal. I had so much confidence with me. How is the Italian life? Good, I would say. Yeah, it's very good for the food in particular. Is amazing. There are problems and no problems, but I think I'm pretty lucky that I was born in Italy. To be honest, there are so much worse countries. One of the best countries, Italy, I would say. In general, it's not ideal for taxes and etc. Apart from that, I love Italy. Yeah, just all the passion of the people as well is amazing. Do you think Charles will become world champion before Lando? I hope not. I really hope so. He deserves much more than Lando. I don't know. Like, if Piastri stays in the McLaren, and if Lando doesn't really change, I think it can become before Lando, because if Lando has a teammate like Oscar, will never win a championship, to be honest. And if he stays at this pace, we have to be honest in this. But if Leclerc doesn't change the team before the end of the career, I don't know if he will be successful in Ferrari. Just because Ferrari doesn't have the mentality, to be honest, in this period, in these last 20 years. Like, do you watch any other categories rather than F1? Yes, I do. As I said, I watch WEC, so hypercars and LMGT3. I started this year with the Imola Grand Prix, and I also watched a bit of the 6 hours of Spa. I will watch most likely the 24 hours of Le Mans, so amazing. And no really other categories. I try to follow MotoGP, but I don't like motos for some reason. I don't like bikes, yeah. And then also I wanted to watch some F2 or F3, but I always forget about them, to be honest. Opinion on Aiden Edis. I don't know him, so I don't know, I can't say anything about him. If Aiden Edis is watching this, just send me one of your edits on the Discord server that I will rate in the videos I said it before. Favorite food, as I already said, pizza. Love it. Okay, alright, 33 questions. Oh my god, 31 minutes of recording. Crazy. This will be split in 2 episodes, so amazing. By the way, yeah, these were the answers. I really remember you. Turbo Print Labs that produces this amazing 3D circuit. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, it's been a pleasure. Cheers!